You know what this is? This is the Global Liquidity Index. It tells us that 2024 and 2025 are going to be enormous for crypto. And we've already been seeing that in some projects out there, specifically in AI and Depin. We've seen Render, Akash, Potenza, and a bunch of others absolutely exploding. And that's only going to continue, but we need to start finding the new projects that are just about to launch. And we need to find them in the narratives that are going to be exploding right now. And according to Google Trends, it couldn't be a better time for AI cryptos, or for coins that are in crypto gaming right now. Therefore, in this video, we're going to look into a project I've covered before on the channel called Aethir, which is one of the most hotly anticipated launches of this year. Also, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to talk about how you can qualify for whitelists for the upcoming node sale and how you can still access a pre-sale where you'll get a heavy discount on the launch price of this crypto. So hit the like button and let's get into today's video. Now guys, I launched this video about Aethir all the way back in January when no one out there had heard a peep about this project. All of a sudden it started to gain huge traction and excitement until just this week when suddenly we see Virtual Bacon talking about it, we see Miles Deutscher tweeting about it, and other people across the crypto space jumping on this bandwagon. And if you were subscribed, you would already be well ahead of the game because you would have understood from this video the power that Aethir is presenting us. Now, there's no mystery as to why AI cryptos and gaming are surging aggressively right now. Obviously, we've got that NVIDIA conference, but it's more because of the general landscape of what's going on with AI. It's a new kid on the block and it's something that everyone is very excited about. But there's huge scaling issues with AI because the compute power to power development of large language models such as ChatGPT just isn't there right now. And the centralized solutions like Amazon Web Services, etc., can't cope with the demand. Also, when we think about gaming, the gaming industry is enormous and it is developing incredibly fast, with now people around the world from all sorts of different economic backgrounds being able to access different video games. But there's a problem with this. The centralized solutions to be able to provide gaming solutions to individuals out there are not suitable. Therefore, the big word that everyone always talks about in crypto, mass adoption, could well be about to happen. I think it's going to happen in Depin, and I think Aethir could well be the catalyst for this. And as we go through this video, and you have any questions about Aethir and the upcoming node sale, then I want you to write them down, because on the 20th of March, which is when the node sale goes live, we're going to conduct that sale live here on the House of Crypto with Mark Ryden, who is the CEO of Aethir. No one else out there in the crypto space who's talking about Aethir right now is going to be able to take you through the node sale live with Mark Ryden talking about all the benefits of holding nodes. I'm going to tell you later on how you can qualify for whitelists in the node sale and how you can make the most of this opportunity. So coming back to this image, we can see that there's an expected $1.7 trillion spend by the year 2030. And you're like, yeah, you always tell me about this large language model stuff. Guys, it's so important. AI is growing incredibly fast right now. And the GPU power that supports this at the moment isn't available to support these projects. So how does it all work? Well, Aethir has a key partnership with NVIDIA. This is actually a very rare partnership, and while there's lots of companies out there talking about having this relationship, Aethir have already been utilizing this relationship to access the H100 nodes that are available on the network. Now, basically, you have distributed centers of these GPUs stationed around the world. Now, let's say you and I are creating our little LLM, large language model AI projects at home or somewhere else, and our computer is not powerful enough to drive these large language models. What we might want to do is connect to a server that's going to provide us with this power, and then we can use this power to run our projects. But there's a problem with that. I don't know whether I'm going to be working tomorrow. I don't know whether or not I'm going to have a certain demand at this time or a demand at that time. This is a big problem because it can cause a lot of cloud wastage. And companies out there that own a lot of these GPUs, for example, these H100 GPUs that cost about $30,000 each, could well be sat there with a bunch of GPUs that no one's using because it's a Saturday, it's a nice day outside and everyone's down the park, having a couple of ciders and a bag of crisps. And that means it's bad for everyone, because me, the person trying to access it during the week, has to then pay a premium for data centers which are more expensive because they can't guarantee how many people are available to use them at certain times. But Aethir works in a different way. Basically accesses different data storage services at different points and can distribute this compute power to different people around the world when they have demand for it. And that's very cool because it means that each of these data centers is able to provide their compute power to a larger audience, which is obviously much better for them because they have more consistency in their profits. It's also much better for the user because these GPU centers are then much cheaper to interact with, which means it's cheaper for me. And then I can use it as like a pay-as-you-go model, which is why if I was to try and do this through Amazon Web Services, it might cost me $20 per gigabyte per hour or whatever the measurement is. However, in comparison, I could use Aethir for around $1.20 for the equivalent workload. I think you understand why mass adoption could be coming in if we're seeing mass growth in gaming, mass growth in AI, and the current services, frankly, inadequate and also too expensive. Very straightforward why a project like this can gain mass adoption, and in fact is already been gaining huge amounts of adoption with key partnerships in a variety of different areas. Now look at this image, and I'll bring you back to this slightly later on. Lots of people will be like, is this actually decentralized if they're using their centralized compute centers? Well, yes, because the network basically connects all these different decentralized centers and brings them all together. Now, the node sale, which we're going to talk about later, is your opportunity to basically buy a node that can basically check all of the different applications that are going on with this system. Basically, the checker is there to ensure that all the work and all the information being shared around this network has been done effectively, and it needs lots of these different nodes around the world in order to do this more effectively. And that's where we come in. You can go and buy one of these nodes and become a checker on the network, which allows you to earn from a pool of 15% of all the revenue that Aethir makes over the next 4 years. That's right, it's potentially a hugely profitable way to mine Aethir tokens. So as we look back into this, you can see Aethir Earth, which is utilizing these H100 GPUs, state that over 45% of enterprises that are already in existence are starting to source decentralized cloud compute solutions. Very exciting. It's already happening. Mass adoption is already happening before we've even realized it. And this is from IO.net, but this is the growth curve that we are looking at right now, guys. Every 18 months, the demand for AI compute power is 10xing, whereas the supply is only doing a 2x. You need projects like Aethir. And projects like Aethir and AIOZ and other monsters out there aren't even in competition really, because the demand is so crazy that they can all satisfy different clients. Not like that, but satisfy their demands for GPU compute power. Now, after coming across to Aethir.com, distributed GPU cloud infrastructure for gaming and AI, you can see that they're basically focusing a lot on gaming, whereas I've just been talking about AI. And fair enough, guys, you're right. Because I spent a lot of my time more recently educating myself on AI and Depin, and basically because these were the exploding narratives. But right now, there's a change in narratives. I talked about in a video yesterday where we're moving towards gaming and GameFi. But with that comes a problem. Lots of people in different countries are trying to access all sorts of different types of video games, and a lot of these are done over the web. This causes a number of different problems, such as latency and high costs. For example, if you're trying to stream a game in, let's say, Indonesia, where I'm at right now, and the game is based in the US, then it can lead to large latency times. It means that someone in the US closer to the server will have lower latency time. So if you're trying to compete against these people on Call of Duty or whatever else, then it's difficult because their connection's going to be nice and crisp while you're further away, and you just can't compete like that. However, the beauty of decentralizing this is that then latency is shared across a whole network, rather than to people who are closer by distribution centers. And because of this, Aethir has directed itself towards this particular niche, because at the moment they've got more than 10 game studios that are under development, all using Aethir's software development kit, which allows developers to basically implement some of these benefits of creating GameFi platforms into existing games. Not only that, but let's put it very simply. Now, if you're as old as me, maybe you played the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 and these other games consoles when you were kids. Now, once you got the PlayStation 2 compared to the PlayStation 1, you would have suddenly seen a big step up. And that's because the capacity and the power within that unit was significantly higher. However, now with slightly different systems in place, you can do something very cool. You can have like a $50 smartphone and be able to access the video games that are created for $1,000 plus iPhones. You can have a laptop computer that costs a couple of $100 and be able to access games that are built for computers that cost 4 or 5 times that. And that's because instead of having to download all the information, you can access it via cloud. Wouldn't that be amazing? And this completely levels the playing field, because it now means that not only more economically developed countries have access to all of these different things, but it's a much more fair system because it doesn't really matter the hardware that you're using to be able to access the same programs. And it's because of this phenomenal tech that's been brought in by Aethir that's allowed it to rise to this current level of hype and excitement in the markets. Is backed by some of the biggest names in gaming, venture capital, Animoca brands, and a bunch of others as you look through this list. And there's so many other bits and pieces that you can find out information on here. But before we go further, I just want to talk about another thing that's really cool. Now, the iPhone is a new concept that is owned by Aethir and set up under a different company. Now, I've just talked about the thing where maybe your phone isn't able to handle some of the applications out there for more modern, more expensive phones. That's not a problem. You can go and buy yourself a $50 phone, and for $1 a month, you can access a phone. This means that despite your hardware, the phone that you actually hold, not being particularly impressive, you can access all the applications and things of, let's say, an iPhone 15. You're basically clicking on an application that accesses through the cloud an entire phone. It's a cloud phone. This means that it runs at internet speed. You don't have to wait for anything to download because you're not downloading anything. It's all running on the cloud. And to be honest, what's great about it is it's $1 a month. And I have to agree with what After Haze says about this. We're backing projects that are using the blockchain to solve real-world issues. Aethir is meaningfully expanding the addressable market for gaming and other streaming content to the world's highest growth markets. Okay, hardware-constrained markets, which is what we've just talked about. Everyone wins. Aethir expands, games publishers, globally distributed rendering nodes, operators alike. So this is truly an enormous endeavor and an enormously important crypto project. I don't typically think of many crypto projects as enormously important because I'm an investor and I'm not that techie and whatever. But I think something like that gives opportunity to all different people around the world is an extremely important initiative and something that I really like. And here's some of the things that I haven't already mentioned with regards to the gaming. You can see the two industry paths, the open one, which is where Aethir's going down, not having to wait before you can play something. Basically, you can click on it and it's already up and open. You can use it on any device, any system, no matter where you are in the world. And you can then fully integrate your Web3 integrations and also crypto wallets and gain early access. Whereas all the other side of things, the Web 2 version, significantly slower, more expensive, without access to everything as well. But I know, guys, a lot of you are like, okay, fine, tell me the price prediction. How much money can I buy? When's this sale? When's the node sale? How do I do it? I want to tell you something. Right now, we've seen a huge burst and a huge surge in liquidity. There's clear market movers right now. It's quite evident that the AI market and the Depin market have been moving. And as we look into all these ICOs and stuff that are coming out everywhere, we need to be going in and finding out information like this that could potentially drive them forward. To start, very simply, Google Trends, AI crypto, all-time highs. GameFi searches, all-time highs. Depin searches, all-time highs. Aethir seems to cover all these bases. Therefore, it is a very exciting project in my opinion. Now, before I flip too bullish and everyone sells their houses to go and buy Aethir nodes and Aethir tokens, there is obviously things we need to continue to think about going forward. Government regulation around certain things could obviously hamper the development of projects like this and how many people out there are starting to use these types of services. Another thing to consider is the IO.net, GPU.net, Render Network, Akash, and a few others are also in a similar space. However, with the exception of IO.net, few other projects out there have any capacity to be able to support cloud gaming like never before. You're probably wondering, why is he wearing a different shirt? Why is he gone and got changed? Well, guys, it's because I completely forgot that I need to include some information about where we could potentially see this project going in the future. And obviously, I've only just realized that. So what we're going to do quickly is work out a potential valuation, which is going to be difficult, but maybe we can do it. Now, right now, Aethir hasn't yet decided exactly the price at which it's going to launch at. I think, realistically, we're looking at around $750 million. Potentially a little bit less, potentially a little bit more. Now, that's quite a big valuation, you're probably thinking. But bear in mind, these projects are worth a lot of money as well because they already contain a lot of infrastructure. They're already working products in an industry that is worth potentially billions, if not trillions of dollars over the next few years. So, bearing in mind right now as well that Aethir is one of the most pumped up and hyped projects I've possibly ever seen in crypto, and understanding where we could potentially be going in the future. So let's take a look at market caps, anticipated market caps going forward. As we look down through, the coin market cap, we can see a few coins within the Depin industry. Filecoin, $5.3 billion. Which, at a 750k valuation would only be like a 6-7x for Aethir. As we go up the list a bit, there isn't really kind of new Depin projects that are that level. It's very difficult to kind of value this project. But I think given the way that the industry is heading, given the opportunity in the market right now, it wouldn't shock me to see a valuation potentially into the future for Aethir and other projects like that. IO.nets, the GPU.nets, the peak networks, somewhere in the region of $20 to $30 billion, which would be a valuation from now of around sort of a 20 to 25x, which is pretty incredible given the size of the project right now. But obviously, this is just speculation. So obviously, take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to price predictions, but it's definitely one to be watching and definitely something I'm very excited about. Now guys, full disclosure, I do not hold any Aethir tokens or have any Aethir investment right now, but fortunately I do have access to run an Aethir node sale, which if you get into the free Telegram, which is linked down below in the description, you're going to find out more information on. You could also qualify through that to be whitelisted and potentially be able to purchase higher tier nodes from Aethir that aren't on offer anywhere else. Not only that, but I say again, on the 20th of March, we're going to have the Aethir CEO on a live call when that node sale goes live. Also, we're going to be able to offer an exclusive discount that is only available to the House of Crypto and its community on this node sale. So make sure if you're interested in picking up an Aethir node, that you're ready for that live stream. Also, as soon as that node sale finishes on the 20th of March, we're going to lock in the date for a pre-sale raise for Aethir. This means that you can also buy into a project like this before any other investor out there and benefit from prices that are usually only open to large venture capital funds like Binance Labs, Animoca Brands, Coinbase Ventures, and many others like that. In order to join into that pre-sale, all you need to do is join the inner circle, which is linked down below in the description, and then you can purchase tokens up to the value of around $5,000. You don't have to go to Seedify and stake your entire life savings to get $20 of allocation anymore. Not only that, but you'll also qualify for all of the other pre-sales that we have coming up over the next few weeks. We've actually got one that's going live tomorrow and multiples more over the next few weeks. We invested in Portal at the end of last year where people got to buy in at 6 cents, and the other day Portal launched at $2.50. And people within the group actually became millionaires at that time. Not only that, in the Discord, you're going to be able to access the trade zone where you can get on and follow 3 or 4 expert traders as they give daily trade signals to the viewers. You'll also get access to my exclusive insight videos where I give deeper dives on what's going on in the world of crypto and how to make the most of the opportunities before I talk about them on YouTube. So guys, if you want access to all of that, then make sure you get into the inner circle. It's linked down below in the description. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button. If you want more in-depth deep dives, then great. Subscribe, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about Peak Network, another huge monster Depin launch project that's going to be coming out very, very soon. It's a layer 1 specially designed like no other layer 1 is right now to be able to cope with the demands of AI and Depin, and you don't want to miss it. So guys, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.